present the colors from Middletown High School uh, Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training, led by Cadet DeAndre Olive, under the supervision of Chief Petty Officer Kyle Singelin. Our national anthem will be performed by the Middletown Twin Towers Middle School Chambers Singers under the direction of Miss Lucas.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This time we'll ask for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, please welcome Middletown High School Caroline Priscilla, who will be performing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I'm going to request this for once a month to this part of the new meeting. All right, now I have the honor of welcoming our mayor, our great mayor of Middletown, for our State of the City, Joseph DeStefano.
First, I'd like to say to Superintendent Creedon, who's here tonight with two board members, John Williams and John Farino, that you must be awful proud tonight of your students. And I want to thank them for, number one, coming, thank their parents for bringing them here, but also thank Superintendent Creedon and the school board for doing a fantastic job at Middletown Schools. And you see the product of it tonight. So once again, thank you. I'd also like to say a special thank you to the Color Guard, the Middletown Twin Towers Group, the Chamber Singers, and Caroline Pasella and her uncle, Andrew Green. Her grandfather, David Green, a Middletown lieutenant, or was a sergeant from the Middletown Police, retired, and also the grandfather, Lieutenant Hubie Green. So they have a long tradition here in the city, so I want to thank them for your service and your family's service. Also to welcome, of course, my wife, Linda, who's here today. She doesn't like when I do that, so that's why I do that.
No kidding.
And I want to say, acknowledge Judge Bill DeProspo. If you don't know, Judge DeProspo was the person who did the screening when we had the judicial vacancy. And I want to thank you for the great job that you did in making recommendations and interviewing all of the candidates. And we eventually got to what I think is a great candidate, Judge Caton. Also tonight is representing Congressman Ryan Maria Ingracia, representing Senator Skoufis, Amy, I'm going to mess up your name, Amy, if you're here, Amy Hin. But if I messed it up, then you have to say DeStefano. And then we'll be even. And also Paula Kay, who is a candidate for the assembly race in the 98th district, which we represent, we're part of in the city of Middletown. So now to begin, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be a little long, so just to warn you. And good evening, and thank you for joining me today for the Middletown State of the City Address. It is an honor to stand before you as mayor and to share the progress, challenges, and vision we have for our great city. As I reflect on the past year and consider the road ahead, I cannot help but feel a deep sense of optimism and pride in the direction in which Middletown is heading. Our city has faced its share of challenges, but together we have shown resilience, determination, and commitment to making Middletown an even better place to live, work, and thrive. We have a very dedicated group of department heads and employees working for the city. I would like to recognize all of them and thank them for another successful year. Please stand so we can acknowledge your presence here tonight, all the department heads. Our departments operated beyond expectations, and they deserve so much credit for the job they do on a daily basis. This group includes the honorary department head, who thinks she is the #1 department head, my secretary, Mary Zahorchik. Please stand. Thank you. I got to catch my breath now. One of the pillars of our city's success has been our commitment to economic growth and prosperity. Over the past year, we have seen remarkable progress in attracting new businesses, fostering innovation, and creating jobs. Director of Economic and Community Development, Maria Bruni, and her staff have included the community as we celebrated many new business openings. Our local businesses continue to thrive thanks to your support. We will continue to prioritize economic development to encourage business to invest in our city and working to provide opportunities for all of our residents. Under the direction of Maria, the office acts as a one-stop shop for business development. Through a federally funded community development block grant, They offer small business loans for the purchase of equipment. They assist with the planning and zoning process. This office also administers the Industrial Development Agency, which offers tax incentives for large-scale projects. They help new businesses find locations and put prospective tenants in touch with property owners. They work with agencies such as the Empire State Development, collaborate with private sector organizations such as the Orange County Partnership, led by Maureen Hallahan. All of these agencies are integral parts and integral components of our economic development success and have led to significant investments in the city, job creation, and strong economic growth. These partnerships may involve incentives for businesses to expand or establish operations within the city, leading to increased tax revenue and employment opportunities. Planning and Economic Development Chairman Andrew Green, I'd like to acknowledge you for your work in this area as chairman of the committee. Plans for stimulating economic development, attracting new businesses, and creating job opportunities on large-scale projects like Polygraph start here in this office. Working with the Planning Board, Chairman Anthony Capizella and Board Secretary Martina Tu, we are capable of moving projects through the planning process in a manner that meets developer deadlines and protects our city development interests. From 2019 through 2022, the IDA was instrumental in creating 248 jobs in the city. The Polygraph industry site will add 171 construction jobs, along with 120 permanent jobs at this facility to these numbers. Discussing efforts to revitalize neighborhoods and commercial areas, making them more attractive and conducive to economic growth, is important for cities like ours. Saving as many historic structures is also key to revitalization. That is why we've been laser focused on the O&W train station. This building, a key piece of local history, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, has been slated for demolition many times. Looking at it, you wonder how it's still standing. Just prior to COVID, we once again made what will be the last attempt to save this piece of our history. Thanks to Assemblywoman Gunther, the city secured $6.1 million in state grants, which made this project a potential reality. Our economic development team of Maria and Caitlin McNamara, working with Senator Skoufis, completed a successful Restore New York grant application, receiving an additional $1.8 million award. We now have secured $15.5 million in grants, and the final approval of the historic tax credits and new market tax credits will allow us to kick this project off this spring at an estimated cost of $23 million. We also have a project labor agreement in place, guaranteeing that local trades will be working here on this project, and I want to thank Jacob Tawil for his work in securing that deal. As we look forward to 2024 and the potential projects, the former Montgomery Ward building at 48 North Street is on the top of the list for preservation. We are working with a developer to restore this building with 7,000 square feet of commercial space and 24 residential units using creative concepts. They have received planning board approval, and we anticipate construction to begin this year. There are a few other large development projects in our downtown. Plans for a mixed-use project are underway for the former Chase Bank building at 135 North Street. Developers have also submitted plans for our consideration for the former Rite Aid building on Fulton as a mixed-use project, and this looks very promising. We're also working with a developer to convert and restore the former Classy Leather Fort Knox building on Canal Street. Submission of preliminary plans is complete, and the process has begun. These are major steps forward. Additional projects that we have already completed include the nurses' quarters at the Middletown Community Campus that are now dorms for Fayetien College. Maria and Caitlin, once again working with the Skoufis Gunther team, were able to secure a $1.2 million Restore New York grant for this project. Exciting things are happening on the MCC campus. We were awarded recently a $250,000 grant called a Brownfield Opportunity Area Grant, and these funds will be used to complete a BOA study, a planning program that will open the door for future investment incentives at the MCC site and the hopeful expansion of Fayetien College. Speaking of Fayetien, do yourself a favor and ride through the MCC campus. The restoration of these buildings is beyond our imagination and expectations, and the plans moving forward will amaze you. In early April, New York State will be transferring several properties to the city. I believe it's about 13 or 14 structures, including Tuckerman Hall, a 279,000 square foot building, with the hopes, and our hopes, will be to then partner with the college to expand that campus along with other economic development projects that will be presented as we move forward in 2024. While economic development is of great import, we as elected officials must listen and hear our residents as they talk about the struggles they face. I have lived my entire life here in the city of Middletown. My wife Linda and I, also a lifelong resident, decided to stay home here in Middletown and raise our family. Our children, Nicole and Alessandra, are raising their families here also. My family opened our business here in 1981. I know the Middletown community. The years change, they change people, and they change communities, but it does not change our priorities. We have our priorities straight here, and they begin with helping people. The city of Middletown provides significant funding to the warming station, and we have a long history of providing affordable housing, something many communities in this county ignore. New York State is now facing a major housing crisis, with rents spiraling out of control. Almost 3 million New York households are dealing with housing costs that consume more than 30% of their household income. 1 in 5 households are experiencing a severe cost burden of more than 50% of income. We need to protect our most vulnerable residents, and by working together, we can find solutions to the complex challenges we face. This begins with exploring our options for tenant protection from rent gouging landlords. Recently, the Supreme Court refused to hear 2 cases challenging New York's rent gouging laws, and as mayor, I am now comfortable examining the options available to us locally. Some communities have adopted the Emergency Tenant Protection Act of 1974. Others are looking at unique ways to address the situation. Any effort moving forward requires that we conduct a housing vacancy study. I will request funding from the Common Council to conduct this study and begin this discussion. Moving on to tourism and culture. We have been working with the County Executive Steve Newhouse and County Planner Alan Sorensen on a connecting trail that will tie into the Heritage Trail around Genung Street. This is an old O&R right-of-way. This will extend the trail out towards East Main Street in the Shutt Road area, with the hopes of going towards the Wallkill Town Hall. Along with this, Assemblywoman Gunther has secured a $500,000 grant for the purchase and renovation of the Middletown, New Jersey Railroad Station at the corner of East Main and Railroad Avenue. The city will develop a welcome center and business incubator there as we renovate this important piece of history. This will also be bulkhead parking for the trail, and if you rode by that parking lot today, you would have noticed it was full of cars parked there using the trail. The Heritage Trail has been a long time coming. Phase 2 from Hartley Road to East Main Street in Middletown was completed and opened to the public in 2022. The major delay in finalizing the design of the East Main to Ingrassia Road portion was recently resolved when the City Council authorized us to purchase the land near Harding Street from the Morris family. The design report is now complete and submitted to the Department of Transportation. I hope that a quick turnaround of the review will allow this portion of the trail to be ready for bid this year. As you can see, promoting tourism and cultural events as a means to boost the local economy and create jobs in the hospitality and arts sectors is important to our city and our downtown. The Paramount Theater is one of the area's finest examples of a community support for the restoration of a downtown landmark. This is the 11th year of movies have played at our venue. This past year, the Paramount held 27 live events, ranging from Toro College graduation to Debbie Gibson. Attendance reached 20,000 in 23. In 2024, the Paramount is doubling their offerings of live professional events, partnered with Ticketmaster, and now we expect the 2024 numbers to increase significantly. The recent ABBA tribute had approximately 900 attendees, and future acts include The Guess Who. If you're a rock fan, this weekend, tickets are on sale now. Sheila E. and Tavares. More than a woman, right? The Paramount, if you had to be our age to understand that. The Paramount is our downtown anchor, and through the efforts of Senator Skoufis, we have received a $2.5 million grant for the construction of a parking garage across from the theater. Phase 2 will include adding 2 more floors. Economic Development and the Business Improvement District work closely with the Parks Department, led by Superintendent Raylan Berthoff, especially in the area of promotions. We are in the second year of offering ice skating under the Downtown Pavilion, which is providing outdoor winter activities including theme parties, bonfires, and so much more. Across Erie Way Park is the popular skateboard park, which is free to the public and now hosting competitions and other events. In the summer months, the pavilion hosts the downtown Middletown Farmers Market. We created this open space in the center of our city because we cherish our environment and recognize our responsibility to protect it. We are taking bold steps, our share, towards a greener future, from investing in renewable energy projects to implementing sustainable infrastructure. Superintendent Creedon's geothermal project at Twin Towers is an example of this community's commitment to the environment. Our city is also committed to reducing our carbon footprint and creating a healthier, more sustainable place for our future and for future generations. Pervious pavement in parking lots, retention ponds, tree plantings, electric charging stations, watershed protection, all represent our commitment towards these goals. Having discussed program, let us now explore other quality of life issues that are important for our residents. One of the keys to maintaining the city is strong code enforcement. The chair of our Public Works and Traffic Committee, Alderman Jude Jean-Francois, works closely, very closely, with our Commissioner Jacob Tawil and his team of code enforcement officers to lead the way in maintaining safety and health standards and ensure that properties comply with state and local building codes. A strong code enforcement team will preserve property values and maintain the aesthetic appeal and integrity of our neighborhoods. It is important that this department respond to community concerns. Neighbors are the eyes and ears of a successful code program. You know when your neighbor is renting their single-family home as a B&B. You and your neighborhoods, you know if someone in your neighborhood has created an illegal apartment in their attic. Moreover, when you approach us with a neighborhood issue of any kind, it is imperative that we act as quickly as possible without involving you. I encourage you to continue reporting violations that affect your property values and your neighborhood. You can also call my office directly. And that's where City Corporation Counsel Alex Smith is front and center on city court issues. In 2023, between fines and civil judgments, nearly $500,000 in penalties were ordered by the court. We have also changed some of our codes to reflect changing times, responding to issues like B&Bs and property maintenance. The Tawil-Smith Code, or as Alex would call it, the Smith-Tawil Code, that team plays a vital role in ensuring fairness and responding to community and neighborhood concerns. Our efforts in this area contribute to the overall well-being and sustainability of our city and truly enhances the quality of life of all of our residents. I would like to commend Legislative Chairman Paul Johnson, Dr. Paul Johnson, for his hard work in this area. And believe me, he works hard at it because he is a little bit of a pain in the neck sometimes.
It's not in the scriptures.
Not in print. But according to our last census, the city population grew by over 8%. People are moving here, and not many cities in New York State can say that. The growth requires at how we look and what we do and how we look and do business. Last year, we made some changes in our overnight parking ordinances that allowed certain residents to obtain overnight street permits when the weather was clear. The program has been helpful and very helpful in reducing people parking on lawns, which is a violation of city code and extremely hurtful to the neighborhoods where this happens. We all know that weather patterns have changed significantly. In the last couple of years, we have not had much snow. Look at this past week, for example. I am requesting that the Common Council study amending the ordinance to require off-street parking only when a snow emergency is declared. I know my friend Jacob in the Public Works Department is concerned about this, but I believe it is important to respond to the needs of our residents. What you see in that picture is not acceptable, but it's almost unavoidable for many people in our community. And they have to respond to the needs of our residents, and we have to respond this year. It is no longer practical for a full winter ban when for a good part of the winter there is no snow on the ground. Yet, we continue to force our residents to choose between ruining their lawns, getting a ticket, or parking in distant lots. Let us try it. I'm not saying make it permanent. I'm saying let's try for the 24-25 winter season. And at the same time, we will begin enforcing the parking on front lawns as you see here. I think it's a small issue to some, but it has a big impact on how our community is viewed. We also have a responsibility to inform the public as to what is happening in government. Transparency is important to government, and we continue to make access to information to the public a priority. Under the leadership of City Clerk Rick McCormick, we have continued to expand the public access that started under COVID by allowing the public to attend meetings and selected events virtually. Community engagement and inclusion are priorities of the committee chair, Alderman Kleiner, and this is for many, many years. Our city thrives when everyone's voice is heard and respected, and Jerry deserves credit for teaching a lot of us that over the years. We encourage active participation from residents, community organizations, and businesses to help share our policies and decisions. We remain committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and equitable city where everyone has a seat at the table. We are reaching out to you with the use of Channel 20 on Demand, our weekly e-newsletter, the Middletown Express, that highlights and details upcoming events and essential city news, our YouTube presence, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Eileen at the Paramount does great work in this area, along with Rick. I implore everyone to sign up for the city alert system to receive texts and or emails through the city website. We are no longer using Nixle, so go to the middletownny.gov and click alerts. The directions are very easy to follow, and you'll stay up to date on what's happening in our community on a daily basis. Moving on to city finances, City Treasurer Leonora Liz plays a crucial role in managing our city's finances and ensuring our financial stability. As stated, access to services and information for the public is also important, and for that reason, the Treasurer's Office updated the city website to allow for customer access to information on the city's budget and financial statements, if you're interested. This information is important for all public support of our programs that we implement. Customers can also make online payments for parking tickets, for taxes, and water and sewer bills. In the area of employee relations, this office continues their efforts to expand HR services and functions aimed at providing employees with comprehensive education on their benefits, ensuring maintenance of the city's compliance records, and fostering increased productivity and engagement among our workforce. As a member of the New York Conference of Mayors, we continue to support the proposed legislative priorities to reform civil service law that address the Rule of Five and provisional appointments when no list is in place. Director Massey has been very active in this area, as I said, as Director of Civil Service. Leonora's office is now preparing for the 2023 audit. I am happy to present the results of the 2022 audit. Key financial highlights reveal a rise in government funds with an ending fund balance her ending savings account, basically, of nearly $24 million. This marks a net increase of $5.2 million compared to the restated combined fund balance of the previous year. We are managing your tax dollars well. Since the inception of the New York State tax cap, the City of Middletown has met the cap for 12 consecutive years. Alderman Massey is chairman of the Finance Committee, and along with President Rodriguez and myself, we present the budget to the Common Council. Leonore and her staff do an excellent job in managing that budget, monitoring spending, and examining ways to cut costs, such as the employee health care option that was recently introduced. Thank you all for your hard work. Moving on to public safety, a basic responsibility of local government. Our city is the only department in Orange County that operates with a combined volunteer career staff. They strive to be leaders in training, fire response, fire prevention, and professionalism. Their guiding principles, as they say. This combined department saves city taxpayers millions of dollars annually, and their operation comes under the guidance of Public Safety Chairman Alderman Tobin. Recognizing people who have served their community is important. 2023 was Chief Nick Barber's final year as the Chief of Middletown Fire Department. Nick has served the fire department in many ways. In addition to Nick leaving, Sean Giroux, Department Secretary for 20 years, has stepped down from his position. I offer my thanks and the thanks of our residents to Chief Barber and to Department Secretary Sean Giroux for their many years of service to our city and the City of Middletown Fire Service. I ask them to stand and let's give them a round of applause. Nick thought he was getting a gold watch. Boy, is he surprised. Yeah. We now welcome Chief Brady and his officers, all volunteers, of course. They will lead the department in that in 2023 had 1,099 calls for service. Chief Brady will also be instrumental in addressing the needs of the fire service in Middletown moving forward as we face many challenges. The first challenge remains and is recruitment. So much time is required of our volunteers. The state of New York requires extensive training, time away from their families, and this volunteer duty, while rewarding, is a major commitment. In order to incentivize members, the city increased the length of service awards program to $1,200 per year of service. With the help of our city assessor, Marianne Feely, the council recently passed a 10% reduction in property taxes for all members who fulfill their annual requirements. We also provide the department with the best of equipment and the best possible and the state-of-the-art training opportunities. In 2023, a $75,000 grant through Senator Skoufis' office enabled us to purchase a live simulator as part of our training commitment. The second challenge is in the area of ambulance service. For the past 2 years, I've been sounding the bell about the problems with ambulance service statewide and how it affects communities like Middletown. In prior years, we had a contract with Mobile Life to be the primary responders in the city. This mutually beneficial relationship had no cost attached to it other than billing of service to the users. In late 2023, Empress, the company that purchased Mobile Life, notified us that Middletown would have to pay $670,000 for this service starting in 2024. And it's not all the fault of Empress. A lot has to do with how the state legislation impacts the ambulance service. In 2024, we used federal grant money to cover the cost. 2025 forward, it will be borne by Middletown taxpayers. The state and the Conference of Mayors have now identified this as a major healthcare issue. A little late, but at least they've identified it now as a healthcare issue, and change is coming. We are examining our options moving forward, and they include contracting with Empress for a multiple-year agreement and integrating our fire department in some form with ambulance response for either basic life support, advanced life support, or both. Chief Brady and his team will play a major role in moving this program forward. Additionally, The fire department continues to play a vital role in fire prevention and community events such as the Run for Downtown, National Night Out, visiting our schools, and working with our recreation programs. And we appreciate both the career staff and the volunteers for all they do. And Chief, welcome aboard as the chief. Ensuring that residents feel safe in their community requires enhanced police-community relations and implementing community police strategies. Chief, Iwanchu has focused the department in this area. Last year, the results of the criminal justice reform statewide resulted in a consistent pattern of repeat offenders. I have mentioned in previous years that the bail reform legislation, while well-intended and in some areas necessary, have resulted in negative impacts on our city and many communities throughout our state. We cannot ignore the fact that bail reform is playing a pivotal role in our recent upward trend of criminal activity. In 2023, we experienced a significant increase in non-bailable offenses, such as larceny and motor vehicle thefts. Many of these crimes are committed by repeat offenders, who are released with no conditions or bail, but would have been subject to bail and release conditions prior to the state legislation. We have seen some slight adjustments to the legislation by the state legislature, but a host of challenges remain. The bottom line is we need to restore discretion to local judges, and Orange County needs to provide additional resources to the district attorney's office for prosecution that will allow them to prosecute cases rather than plea bargaining on chronic offenders. For example, a recent shooting incident in the town of Wallkill resulted in quick police action by multiple agencies, with the town police making an arrest. It is my understanding that the person is a 5-time felon in a bar at 4 a.m. with a gun. Does this make any sense to anyone? While the state makes several changes in the criminal justice area, and we hope they happen quickly, one area they did not touch was facility funding. When you hear terms like facility funding, it's also known as an unfunded mandate. We have been fighting with the New York State Office of Court Administration regarding a directive to add a second courtroom in the city of Middletown. The Middletown court no longer serves just Middletown, and that's the problem. It is now a regional court and serves many jurisdictions. Yet, the state demands we pay for the entire court facility. I refused to do so about 7 years ago, and we continue the fight. And I will continue to refuse until this is resolved in a fair and equitable manner. In the interim, we have made available to the Common Council chambers, the chambers you're in now, for civil court issues, and it's working. The OCA proposal would have cost city taxpayers in the area of $10 million with no state funding. We proposed an alternative project utilizing the former federal court facility on South Street that we now own, thanks to Assemblywoman Gunther. This would require a $6 million renovation, and working with the Common Council, we were able to commit $3 million towards this project. Doing so will allow the city to expand the police department also, which is in need of space. Meetings with OCA, Senator Skoufis, and Assemblywoman Gunther are ongoing, and I am hopeful that this project can move forward, but we need some financial assistance from New York State, and we're hopeful that Senator Skoufis and Assemblywoman Gunther will once again make that happen. Hopeful being the key word, and that we will have these new court facilities. We did welcome our new city court judge, Judge Caton, as I mentioned when I introduced Judge DeProspero. Judge Caton's swearing in was back in January. Judge Caton replaces Richard Girton on the city bench, and Richard joins the Orange County as a county court judge. And Judge Caton will be joining Judge Brockett on the Middletown City Court bench. While still Richard to us, I would like to thank him for his many years of service to our city as Corporation Counsel, his short stint as Commissioner of Public Works, and of course, as City Court Judge for many years. So thank you to Judge Girton, and welcome Judge Caton. Related to this, I'm not asking the state or the county to do anything more than we are doing here in the city by requesting improved facilities and additional prosecution resources. We have increased funding for police operations and we now budget 75 sworn officers. This increase in workforce has allowed Chief Awanchu to double the neighborhood enhancement team, focusing on residential and business concerns, implement a crime suppression unit, and focus on numerous traffic complaints from many neighborhoods. This unit has implemented a new strategy for addressing community issues utilizing a new pool called the Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design, CPTED. The unit seeks to combat rising crime by targeting locations and addressing not only the criminal activity, but also the environmental issues surrounding the target area, such as vacant buildings. This unit collaborates with my office, Code Enforcement under Mr. Tweel, and every city agency to implement this unique approach. Our 2024 CPTED project that will be coming up and has been recommended by that committee will be working with the Parks Department, Economic Development, and DPW. We'll be focusing on the Thrall Park area and that surrounding area, the area surrounding Thrall. I have authorized the hiring of a landscape architect to present to the city some options that will address park lighting, that will address highlighting the beautiful monuments in the park and giving them the honor that they deserve, removal of some of the old trees and the planting of new, trimming back of some of the trees, new recreation equipment, and more. This will certainly help us as we focus on improving this high-profile area of our city. Chief Awanchu has implemented some very creative ways to reach out to the community, and he would like to hear from you as a member of our community. This community engagement is an important part of community policing, and it's something everyone's been crying for many, many years. Chief and his management team are focused on accountability and transparency, and the police department is a New York State accredited department. The department has placed special emphasis on training and education and is willing to use creative problem-solving techniques to address complex issues. We host the organization Fearless, peer advocates who handle the follow-up on domestic violence calls in our building, the police building. And we have Independent Living, who follow up on mental health and overdose cases, also with space in the police station. Policing certainly has changed over the years, and as mayor, working with Chief Awanchu, we are committed to providing the department with the necessary resources to address community needs. Another key component to our policing strategy is technology. We received a $450,000 grant through New York State to upgrade and increase our surveillance cameras located in the downtown business district. This enabled the chief to replace existing cameras and add 29 new ones. Plans for additional surveillance cameras are being developed as we recently received a $300,000 federal grant through Congressman Ryan. We are expanding into the major corridors of the city, Wickham Avenue, Dolson Avenue, and Monhagan Avenue. These grants are a result of working closely, as I said, with Congressman Ryan, Senator Skoufis, and Assemblywoman Gunther. The cameras have outstanding capabilities and analytics that the police department can utilize to prevent, respond to, and investigate activity. They not only help solve crimes, but they are a significant deterrent and a valuable police tool. While technology is important, our relationship with the Middletown School District, under the leadership of Superintendent Amy Creedon, is of utmost importance. The benefits of this strong relationship were on display during the response for the Farmingdale bus incident last year on Route 84. I wanted to publicly say thank you to Superintendent Creedon for your quick response in coordination with Chief Awanchu during that crisis. As we know, working together, we do get results. And also, we know that quality schools are a major part of a family's decision whether to locate in our city. While the media attention focuses on the larger districts, like Middletown, when there's a problem, it's imperative that we, as city officials, tell the positive story of the Middletown School District, and you experienced some of that this evening at the beginning of this meeting. As a leader of the Quality of Life Committee and an advocate for our schools, Alderwoman Ray recognizes the importance of a strong city-school relationship. There have been many changes to education over the years, and the schools must now address societal issues that require an innovative approach to education. The district has implemented a new code of conduct, and they have collaborated with the Orange County Department of Mental Health to have at least one clinician inside every school. Schools are often the first place where signs of mental health issues may become apparent in children. This in-school service allows for early identification and intervention, which can prevent issues from escalating. It is also support and access to resources for families who may be struggling with their child's mental health issues. Parents, we need you to take advantage of programs like this. Our number one concern in our city, and every city that I go to that I hear at Conference of Mayors, is youth violence. We know that at least in this city, help is there, and we encourage you to seek it out through the school district or through the police department. The district deserves credit for this. At the same time, we continue to partner with them in the School Resource Officer program, and we'll do whatever we can in that partnership to enhance our schools and our community. Schools are now year-round operations. The district has extensive offerings of enrichment programming throughout the summer that includes continued access to school facilities for youth and adult programming. This didn't always happen. Many of these programs are in partnership with the City of Middletown Recreation Department. As a result of this creative approach, the high school now has its highest graduation rate in recent memory at over 92%. Attendance continues to improve, and one of the many shining star opportunities at the high school, for example, the dual enrollment program, which offers over 103 college credits from 3 universities, including Syracuse. Middletown School District facilities host multiple sectional and state events that bring significant tourism dollars into our communities, giving our community a big boost to the local economy. I mentioned the vital role that tourism plays in our city's development. The city also plays a small financial role in the district's application for these events, but credit to the school for being competitive and bringing these tourist dollars into our city. Once again, I will share with you the words and wisdom from our board member, John Perino, who, when things were not going so great between the city and the school district, or me and the school superintendent at the time, he said, "Joe, what is good for the school district is good for the city." But he also said, what is good for the city is good for the school district. So thank you for those words of wisdom, John Perino. Moving on to the Department of Public Works. And you got to watch the pictures on this one too, folks. There are many components to public safety, and one that does not receive as much positive attention is the work of the men and women in this department. Commissioner Tawil, along with his deputy commissioners, Brian Smith and Ross Mastria, demonstrate daily what a crucial role they play in ensuring the functioning and well-being of our city. DPW is responsible for maintaining and repairing public infrastructure, including roads, sidewalks, public parking areas, public buildings, sanitation, stormwater management, water and sewer plants, reservoir maintenance, and more. This infrastructure is essential for the daily lives of our residents and businesses. In the area of sanitation, we still need to encourage recycling, and unfortunately, a number of our residents are not doing it correctly. You must place all of your recyclables in the blue bins loose. They cannot be in bags. I know many of you are frustrated, have called my office complaining that we did not pick up your recyclables. Well, we did not pick them up because, and we're refusing to pick them up when this problem exists, because a few plastic bags filled with items can contaminate the entire load, and the county transfer station will reject the entire load because of that. So we have to be firm in our refusal to pick up your recyclables unless you are in compliance. In 2023, we had an increase of 1,300 tons of municipal solid waste and an equivalent reduction of 1,300 tons in recycling due to these rejected loads. Let us collectively do a better job, and we will continue to warn you and ask you to comply but at some point, that's going to have to change into enforcement. As we all know, Middletown is an old city, going back to 1888, with old infrastructure. And we continue to invest in both above-ground and underground needs. We continue to aggressively apply and have been successful in obtaining grants for some major projects related to water and sewer, and have undertaken many capital projects that will benefit the city for many generations to come. Here are some examples of how your tax dollars and user fees are being used and spent. Our water system has 5 reservoirs, and they convey water to our city treatment facility. Replacement of the raw water main from Kinch Reservoir to Chawanga estimated to cost $8.4 million. We secured a grant of $5 million with design scheduled for 2024 and construction to begin in 2025. Watershed protection. Protection is key to having a safe water supply, so we can avoid the problems that have plagued many cities throughout our country, including locally the city of Newburgh. Our watershed extends all the way to Greenville. Under Jacob Tweel, we initiated an $8.1 million watershed land acquisition program to purchase and protect lands surrounding our reservoirs. For this, we received a $6 million grant from New York State. We also oversee and maintain 9 dams, some built in the late 1800s. Kinch and Chawanga are now complete at a cost of $5.7 million. Our system is pressurized by water tanks located throughout the city, and we replaced and repaired tanks at a cost of $8.3 million. We received $3 million in state grants and $5.3 million in low-interest loans from the Drinking Water Safe Revolving Fund. We have water main replacement programs totaling $8.7 million, utilizing $7 million in state grant money. This reconstruction is ongoing as we rebuild our city. Total capital projects completed recently and on the board for 2024 total $125 million for a small city of Middletown with 30,000 people. It's important work, and work that we need to do in order to maintain and improve the quality of life, protect our investments in our homes and our businesses. These multi-year projects require intense oversight, and I believe that our team is doing just that. And that team on this is led by Jacob Tweel. It is also important to you that you as a taxpayer see how we are spending your dollars. As you can see, a significant amount of our capital investment is going into water and sewer. And the logical question is, how can we afford to pay for it? I highlighted a significant amount of grants that we have received, and we continue to be very aggressive in this area. Nevertheless, there is local funding required, and here's how I proposed a few years back, and we continue to follow this program, to pay for our share for the continued rebuilding of our city infrastructure. First, the importance of having Senator Skoufis and Assemblywoman Gunther as members of the majority party in Albany cannot be emphasized enough. They deliver for our taxpayers, and I thank them for their advocacy and their continued support. They make our job easier, bringing home our share of state grants. As a city, we made good choices on infrastructure. We constructed our city and water and sewer plants at a cost of over $60 million to handle more than what our projected use was. We continue to work on additional water resources to expand the ability to service outside the city. To that end, we struck what is a historic agreement with the county and the county executive, Steve Newhouse, that allowed the city to have access to up to 1 million gallons per day of water from the Indigo Creek area, including well development. We're now looking at the possibility of partnering with the county on the development of a reservoir and or us accessing that 1 million gallons a day of water. We negotiated a deal with Amy's Kitchen, and the water and sewer lines are now extended from the city of Middletown to the Amy's site in the town of Goshen. We have reached an agreement with New York State Office of Mental Health to run water and sewer lines down Route 17M to this new facility. Once designated for closure, losing a lot of local jobs, this mental health facility is being rebuilt, and we will be providing water and sewer services from the city of Middletown. The Amy's deal is changing, and we are negotiating with the county and the town of Goshen to service a new district in the area of Amy's. Our projections estimate that this will increase city revenue by $2.1 million per year. The development of Indigo has the potential for an annual revenue of $5.7 million a year. So as you can see, while short on land for development, we have the ability to continue to work regionally, creating jobs and creating revenues for our city. This will lead to a more coordinated regional development efforts and shared resources for mutual benefit of the entire area. Our capital projects extend beyond water and sewer. The citywide traffic operation improvements, a $31 million project funded through a variety of sources, started last year and will hopefully be complete late in 2024. This includes upgrading of traffic lights, ADA signalized pedestrian crossing intersections, ADA compliant sidewalks, ramps, and roads, including the highlighted intersection crossings. The Middletown Transportation Center has been long in planning, and we are finally getting results. The city has approved all the agreements for construction on mostly city property in the area of the current bus terminal. Coach has been very cooperative, as well as county planning. Originally scheduled to begin in 2019, the project has grown to over $7.5 million, funded primarily by federal transit money. Now let us consider other areas of city government that make our city stand out. Middletown is not just about brick and mortar projects. Our recreation and senior programs are thriving, and I encourage you to check out their websites for activities. These are activities for the young and the old. We now have 3,483 seniors registered at Mulberry House. Activities include senior trips, health fairs, holiday events, and more. Daily interaction with staff and other visitors is welcome, and if you need a ride, call our senior bus for transportation. The facility hosts organizations such as the Middletown Art Group and offers the tax assistance program. Mulberry House, as defined by Director Julissa Sierra, is a place where seniors 55 years of age and older can find purpose, new interests, and many opportunities to be active in our Middletown community. You can measure a community by how it treats the young and the old, and we do a good job in both areas. Our recreation program is unmatched for programs, facilities, and opportunities for all residents of our city to enjoy. Recreation programs for children and youth offer a safe and structured environment for learning teamwork, leadership, discipline, and problem-solving skills. They also keep young people engaged in positive activities, reducing the risk of delinquency. It is a worthy investment by our city. While we offer such variety of programs such as boxing, summer and seasonal camps, ice skating, basketball, rollerblading, bus trips, craft nights, story time programs, partnering with the school district for gym time, etc. On occasion, I do receive a call from a parent saying there's nothing for my kids to do in Middletown. My response is usually, "You're kidding me." And then I point them to our websites. So I once again encourage parents to take advantage of what our community, our city, our school district have to offer and get involved. The rec department has an awful lot to offer. In addition to the numerous programs, we offer 19 city parks with over 1,500 acres of park area. They include the reservoir trails, which we plan to connect with the Heritage Trail, and the new athletic fields at Wolfslayer Field. Over $1 million project. In 2022, we had to close down the Maple Hill pool. We polled the community, and I'm happy to announce that we are now ready to move forward with the splash pad at Maple Hill, an approximately $1 million project. Special thank you to Alderman Ray and Johnson for pushing this project forward, as it's located in your ward. We will also be resurfacing our basketball courts and look to offer more opportunities for adult programming, including additional pickleball courts, primarily for my son-in-law, Michael, who keeps bugging me about pickleball courts. Superintendent Raylan Berthoff, Assistant Superintendent Nicole Sirakis, and their staff do so much more for our city. Their 2024 goals include continuing to network and collaborate with community businesses and agencies to improve the quality of life for residents in our city, in the city of Middletown, through programming and facility improvements. Alderman Witt, as Recreation and Parks Chairman, works closely with the department to further these goals. As mayor, I can commit that we will continue to invest in parks, recreational facilities, and cultural events that promote physical and mental well-being, as well as a sense of community. These amenities make our community more attractive to new residents and businesses. In closing, I want to express my deep gratitude to a group of dedicated public officials, the Common Council, and to our Common Council President, Miguel Rodriguez. In addition, community leaders like Marilyn Pierce, and the leadership at the Warming Center, the Toro students who volunteer at the Warming Center and make it possible, various community organizations such as the Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, the Middletown Interfaith Council, and of course, our residents who make our city what it is today. Together, we have accomplished great things. We are preserving historic buildings like the O&W, providing the best facility and programming for our youth, seniors, and families in the Hudson Valley. Preserving open space and utilizing our assets like the reservoir trails for public enjoyment. Addressing landlord rent gouging, offering a warm bed to those in crisis during the winter months, demonstrating leadership on police and fire safety public issues, while at the same time being fiscally responsible for 12 consecutive years by meeting the tax cap. There are challenges that lie ahead. At times, I personally am unable to meet your needs or your expectations, but it's not for a lack of effort or concern. This is not easy work, and it requires full-time attention. In it, you make many friends, and you do make a few enemies, as we all know. And collectively, as a group here, the Common Council and myself, as a group of elected officials, we demonstrate on a daily basis that we care about our city, knowing the decisions that we make today will be instrumental in what type of community we have tomorrow. Together, we will and can overcome any challenges that lie ahead. Our city's potential is limitless, and as we move forward, I am hopeful that together we will create a brighter, more prosperous, and inclusive future for the city of Middletown. Thank you, and may Middletown continue to prosper and thrive, and thank you for coming.